up, you guys? It's Pauline here. So today I want to talk to you about the concept of compounding and time. This is a simple concept, but I will simply put it as, the power of compound interest. A few years ago, I got involved in trading the stock market with the intentions of being a millionaire. And this is someone speaking when they started in their 30s. So I know there's always, this conversation of you need to start a little bit early, you need to be, to start in your 20s. But this is, clear that if you even start in your 30s, it is still possible for you. So I want to give you my game plan and to show you how I'm going to be able to achieve this in just a little bit of time with, using this secret of the compound interest. As Albert Einstein put it, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Whoever understands it earns it, and whoever does not pays it. And you don't want to be on the other side of the people who pay for it. So by the end of this video, we are going to be able to understand how compound interest works, how you can use it in your journey to grow wealth, and also if this is something that is practical for you, I would just like if you can, like this video. If you are new here, I need you to subscribe because this is going to help out so much in this channel. On this channel, we are basically talking about investing in the stock market, trading a little bit, but also we talk about personal finance. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So with compound interest, I need you to understand that the longer time you spend in a particular investment, the more the rate of return is going to be. So you have to be able to stick it out for a longer period of time. Compound interest does not work on a short term. It is a long-term game. So you have to be able to, stick it out and, work with it, because it does become, exponentially, rewarding to as time moves on. But that is much, much later on, depending on when you did start to accrue on your investment. So just stick with me. We are going to go over some numbers and then we'll be able to see how this all comes together. So what is compound interest? As per the internet definition, it is the addition of interest to the principal sum of a deposit or a loan. In other words, it's the interest that you earn on the interests. At first, it is just simple interest, and then it becomes compound interest. So those are two aspects. So when we are looking at compound interest, you look at it in terms of time. So assuming you had a principal of like 10,000 and you put it in an investment asset and it was going to give you like 5% of interest on an annual basis. The first year you will earn interest on the 10,000. The second year you will earn interest on the 10,000 plus the interest that you earned in the first year to be able to get a little bit more. And then that continues on. So every time we are rolling into a new year, we are having interest on top of the initial investment that we made, and that interest is, compounded more and more, and that, you earn interest on that interest. It's just a big snowball that if we look deep into it later on, you are going to understand it better and you're going to be wowed. So for the purpose of this video, but also because this channel majorly concentrates on investing in the stock market, we want to look at the example of the SPY because it helps. Hold on, someone is at the door. Oh my god. All right, I'm back. It was just somebody dropping off a birthday present. She does lipstick, so back to business. All right, where were we? So as I was saying, because this channel would majorly look at, the investment of the stock market, investing in the stock market, we want to look at an example of SPY, which is the ticker symbol for the S&P 500. And we're choosing this one because it majorly tracks the entire US market, but also it does mimic the, the health of the economy. So historically, it has shown also a consistent growth of 9%. It has maintained the interest of 9% annually. So we are going to use this to be able to calculate if someone did invest in just specifically the SPY, but maintained it for over a 30-year period, what would they be looking at the end of the year, the 30-year, investment period. So without further ado, let's just go to the computer and look at all these numbers and see if, what projections they are there. I want you to be able to look at this, put in your numbers too, put in your age, put in your percentages, and also find out how this works for you. Do a little tweaking here and there. So when we look at this, we want to look at somebody who is starting out with an account of $10,000, and we are looking at an average interest rate of the growth of this pie of 8% yearly. But we are also looking at a 30-year investment period. So as I told you, I'm starting out this in my 30s, so I'm looking at a span of 30 years and more, like a minimum of 30 years. So looking at the example of 30 years, and the compound interval is going to be on a monthly basis. The reason for that is that I'm equally including in monthly transactions, and the transactions that I'm doing at this point are deposits. This website can give you also the option of withdrawals. So this is something I'll be calculating much later on in my investment journey, but for now I'm just doing a deposit, and I'm going to be depositing in like $1,000, and this is all going to be at the beginning of the month. If you change this, whether at the beginning or at the end, the calculations come off a little bit different. So you want to be able to put in all these things as they are specific to you as the investor who is choosing to invest in this asset specifically. So if we put in all those numbers and we are using the dollar value here, we will say hit calculate here, and the calculation projection is given down here. The final investment value at the end of 30 years will be 1,600,000 and a little change, and then the interest earned is higher than the total deposits. The deposits generally were 360,000 over the 30 years that you are invested in. We are seeing that you started out with your initial deposit, which was your principal of 10,000, but then because you continued to deposit on it, that also showed your monthly deposits are also shown, but also your effective annual rate per annum did grow a little bit. So this is just to show you that the stock market is just not stuck in one spot. It does fluctuate and it grows. So we've seen this growth, go up and down, but on the bigger scale, it does grow. So here still it is shown in digits. It's shown like year one, the different years, the 1 to 30. And then because we said we're going to be putting in $1,000 every month, that makes it $12,000 a year. And then the interest earned in the first year was just $1,362, and the total deposits, remember it was 10,000 we started with, and the 12,000, which makes it 22,000. Adding on that interest, it becomes 23,362. So this balance up here begins to roll over, and the end result with that is the 1.6 millions that we see at the end of the 30-year financial investment period. They further show it down on this graph, how exponential, you see how this graph is going up. You do see that it does struggle a little bit in the first few years. The first 5 years really don't seem like they're changing much, but trust the process. At the end of the day, you are going to be seeing these investments of yours grow at a much faster rate. So you have to be able to trust the process. If it needs you to go back to your initial plan, if you got this plan written down, just go back to it and look it over and over and remind yourself of the goal and what your projections are. Interest in the first years is not that much, but then as time goes on, it really begins to add up. It begins to add up and it becomes a little bit much more. By the third year, you're earning $7,500 only interest from your initial investment of 10K, but also with that recurring 1,000 that you keep putting in every month. So if I look at this, I am very confident that for sure I will be the millionaire that I intended to be by the age of 60 as I planned it out. But here's the kicker. This investment has grown this much, but it has only grown because you left your initial deposit there, and you also left you continued to invest in it on a monthly basis with their $1,000. There's more that you could add into the mix of this, and that's dividends. These investments will be paying out dividends, and they are equally being paid out throughout these entire 30 years. And if you also employ the dividend reinvestment trick, you are adding on to the deposit you're putting in on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, depending on which assets you've chosen to put in your investment portfolio. So all of these are really working in unison for you. You just have to be able to see the big picture, stick to it, and have clear plans on how to run this thing. So let's go back to these numbers and try to see if someone did just invest, start out with just, let's say, $1, and they put in $1 in their investment account. I want to show you the value of $1 today in relation to 30 years to come. And then let's say they weren't putting in anything on a monthly basis, but they just started with $1. How much will it be valuable after 30 years? $10. So that's how you should look at every dollar you're trying to spend on things that are not really necessities. Things like, an extra cup of coffee when you could actually make that at home, an extra pair of shoes when you already have like 30 pairs, just those spendings, those that I'm talking about, when you just buy with instant gratification. Just you gotta look at that. Let's say $8. If you put in $8 today, it will be a whooping $87 in 30 years. So imagine how much money you're going to spend during this festive season. Let's say you are very conservative. You're only going to spend like $500. That's a freaking $5,000, almost $5,500 in the next 30 years. And you are, wasting on that. It's actually not that much, but when you look at the interest that is earned on that is what really baffles me. The interest being earned is way too much. It feels like free money. Really, it is free money. Imagine that $1,000. If you started out with $1,000, put it in an account, you didn't touch it, you just let it sit there for the next 30 years, it will be worth $10,900 in the next 30 years, and the interest would be $9,935. So when we stepped it a notch and we took it to 10,000, and then we had this person add in $1,000 a month, we saw that. So let's say you're a little bit further along in your in your lifetime. There's certain things you can't change, like your age. Maybe you're 35. If you're 35 and you start out with 10K account, and then you're investing in $1,000 every month, you are going to be looking at, this is not what I wanted to put. If you are starting a little bit earlier, like you're 25 years, which will put you at 35 years, or even if you added on to the waiting period, which is 35 years now, it will become that. But the reverse that I was trying to talk about is if you are a little bit later on in your life, and you only have like 20 years to go. If you try to calculate that with an monthly deposit of $1,000, you are going to be able to see about $600,000 and $42,000 in your account. You are going to have deposits of $240,000 on top of your $10,000 initial balance that you put in. But look at how much interest you are going to accrue at the end of the day. That's a lot, depending on how much you put in. So let's say you only have 10 years to go. in this investment journey, still you are not doing badly off. You're only doing, you're gonna get that much. Well, thank you for sticking by. I want you down in the comments to talk to me about how your investment is going. How are you using compound interest? Did you know about it? How far along are you in your investment journey? And also remember to subscribe to this channel. I need you to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, but also to, share this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.